You know, punching is one of my favorite techniques. It starts happening in the post spawn. After the fish spawn, they move out to the grass lines and the points and stuff. There's about 2 or 3 week period where it's really good, and then it just kind of hit and miss through the summertime. You can still catch them, but it's not as consistent. And then it picks back up in the fall, which is the period we're in right now. In the fall, you've really got to work a lot of different grass areas to figure out where the fish are at. They're not going to be in every little spot. So it's a matter of putting your head down and just keep flipping and covering water. And a lot of times, you know, you'll catch one, two or three fish in the same area, and that's a good holding area for those fish.
He's out of Jackson, Missouri. His name is Gabe Montgomery on the co-ender side.
That's a fat one there. Look at that. Looks like it's still got eggs in it.
How about 5th place? Just over $1,000. They had 1961. Greg Glenn and Gabe Montgomery. Good job, guys.
That didn't take long. Another punch is good. In the fall, you've really got to cover a lot of water. You got to fish a lot of different grass mats and figure out which areas are holding the fish. When you find the fish, you're going to get a couple bites, and that's a good area to keep coming back to. Most of the time, those fish will stay in that general location. Let me talk to you a little bit about my punching rig. I've got a 711 Lew's Custom Light rod. It's a medium heavy action. It's a moderate bend. It's really a 10XD crankbait rod. I like more of a parabolic rod, so that fish hits, you know, you got a little bit of tip action and you can just kind of lean into them or set the hook, whichever way you want to do. But it's got that parabolic bend, and I think it keeps them buttoned up. When they swarm, you know, the rod doubles over a little bit, and when they jump, it's still tight, so you never really get slack in your line. I'm throwing this, I've got a Lew's BB1. It's the HZ model. It's a 7-to-1 gear ratio. You need a high gear ratio for punching because you want to be able to get your bait in there, stroke it a little bit, and then pull it back out, reel up your line, and keep going. And when the fish bites, you need a fast reel to get that fish out of the grass. I'm throwing it on 50-pound Power Pro braid in the green color. And right now, it's taking about a 1 ounce tungsten weight to get down there. So I've got a 1 ounce weight, and I've got 2 bobber stops right here. So 2 bobber stops, 1 ounce weight, and I've got a 4/0 VMC, just a flipping hook with this hard plastic keeper. I like the hard plastic keeper. And today I'm just throwing a beaver. That's what I've been catching some fish on, is a beaver. There's a lot of different baits out there that work. I'm just kind of fond of that. So we're gonna go out here and we're gonna do a little bit of punching, see if I can get on a couple fish and try to explain to you what I look for when I'm punching. Stay tuned. Okay, I made it to a small cove off the main lake, and just kind of wanted to show you what I'm fishing here. Just got some main lake points here, or some secondary points here with some just little grass mats, and the wind's kind of blowing in here. Now I'm gonna just check these out real quick. Probably spend about 30 minutes in here punching around, see if I can get bit. Just swinging on this mat. There's several different points down through here, and you got a little bit of wind blowing in on here. And I'm just gonna kind of ease around here, and you want to listen for bait. You're really looking for mats that have active bait fish. The sun's kind of beating down on this, and I'm gonna flip in here a couple times and see if I can get bit. Yeah, I'm already seeing some bluegill, so that's a good sign. You can see there's a lot of this stuff starting to get kind of brown. It's slowly starting to die off. So I'm focusing on these little holes. A lot of times I want to pitch in these little holes, and I'm just going to give it, I'm going to kind of pull it up to the bottom of that grass and just kind of pop it a couple times. Fish hammered it. Try that again. Okay, you can see these little holes. A lot of times those fish will be sitting down in those little holes. It's a good place to try. I'm constantly just fishing holes, and I'll make a flip on the inside closer to the bank along this riprap, and then I'll go to the middle of the mat, and then I'll flip onto the outside. And you got to try different areas in the mats, and sometimes there'll be a pattern where they're holding, say they're holding just a couple feet back in the mat, sometimes they'll be holding right on the bank, and then sometimes they'll be out off the edge. So it's just a matter of making multiple pitches in different places and see if you can figure something out. You see a tree in the grass like this, it's a good place. Just act like the grass isn't there and just work it like it's a regular laydown. When you get in an area that's got a laydown, if you're fishing grass and there's a laydown that comes out into the grass, underneath the grass, just visualize where that laydown is underneath the grass and fish it just like there's no grass on top of it. A lot of times fish will sit in those kind of places just like they will if there's no grass. You can see this laydown over here. It's coming out underneath the grass, and I've been pitching around it. I haven't caught anything yet, but that's a really good spot to catch a good fish. So the trunk's probably about right there. Yeah, I'm bouncing on top of the trunk. Let's hit that hole right there. And like I said, they're not in every mat. You just kind of got to pull in and try it. And I'm not hearing a lot of bait in here, so it's a pretty good indicator there's probably not many bass in here. We're about done. We're going to go try someplace else. And when you find a mat, you get a couple bites out of it, you can really pick it apart. And a lot of times you're going to catch multiple fish out of one little mat. But until you get a bite, there's no sense of slowing down. You're just wasting your time. You'll know if they're in there. You'll get several bites. I don't know if you guys could see that or not, but I just had a fish blow up on my frog and picked up my punching rig, flipped in there and made a couple casts. And I don't know if that's the same fish, but the same area. A lot of times in the fall, they'll hit that frog, but they won't commit to it. And they're sitting up on top of the mat. And sometimes you can go back through that same area with a punch rig and pick up a few fish. There we go. It's a nice fish. Nice punching fish. I think it's kind of beat up. Just gotta stay after it. Nice punching fish. Man, it is slow out here, guys. Really slow. There we go. Little punching fish. Not big, but it's something. I made a switch to a little speed crawl. Yeah, I love punching. It's becoming like my favorite way to catch fish. No punching today. I don't know if you can see it, but we got our first major nasty cold weather system coming in. It's sleeting, freezing rain right now. Air temps are like 28 degrees. But back to punching. As long as those water temperatures are in the low 50s, you can still catch some fish punching. Anytime you got some matted vegetation and you got the sun beating down, even on those mornings where it's really, really cold, those fish will move up in the mats and they'll be vulnerable to a punch rig. You know, a lot of times in the fall, you're bundled up in the morning, you got leaves on the grass mats, but those fish will still be in those mats. You just got to find the right mats. Keep moving around, keep flipping, keep pitching. Yeah, they'll let you know if they're in there. I've even caught them with snow in the background. You know, this clip here, if you look in the background when I spin around, there's actually snow on the bank behind me. So as long as that water temperature is where it needs to be, you can catch them on those mats. Guys, thanks a lot. I appreciate your time. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Share it on your Facebook page. Hit the thumbs up like button and hit the little bell notification so anytime I post new material, you'll know when it's out. Until next time.